currently 7:43 a.m. There's your proof, if that'll focus. And it's Saturday. And normally my Saturdays are all about soccer games and chores with my kids and just doing family stuff and whatever. Today, the rest of my family are out of town and I gotta stay home alone, which never happens. It's very exciting. And so I'm going to attempt to do a sew-a-thon all day long and make a bunch of things that have been on my list forever. Some of these things have been on my to sew list since like last fall and I just never got around to them. And I really just haven't been sewing a lot lately. I mean, to a normal person standard, I sew a little bit every week, but there's just been so many projects I've been working on that are not actually sewing things and I miss it. So I want to bust through as much sewing stuff as I can without like having to go pick anyone up from school or having people come in and need things from me or having to leave or whatever. I can literally do what I want all day long, which is to sew. So I'm giving myself the challenge of sewing for 12 hours straight. I mean, I might take like slight breaks to eat or whatever for a few minutes, but I'm literally just gonna be like head down sewing. So let's see, it's almost 8, so I'm gonna try to sew until 8 o'clock tonight and see how many projects I can get through. I've cut 6 things out, which might be cheating if we're going off like how many things can I sew in 12 hours? Because I'm not actually cutting anything today. Everything's pre-cut, but still, I'm still curious how many things I can do. My estimate, and this may be embarrassing if I can't accomplish it, but I feel like I will be able to sew 3 or 4 things in 12 hours. Like I said, I've cut 6 because I know myself, and if it's 8 o'clock and I'm almost done with something, or I'm like still feeling the juices, which is definitely possible, I may just keep going. Originally, I was gonna try to do a 24-hour sewing challenge, but I thought, that's not very smart. But again, I know myself and it might happen anyway. So all the projects we're doing are things that I have been dreaming to have in my closet for a long time. They're things I know I want to have, and they're all using fabric that I had already in my stash. I did not buy anything new for this sewing day because my stash is pretty decent right now. I go through kind of like peaks and valleys of, I mean, I always have like a decent stash, but there are times where it's kind of lower and then times where I like shop a lot, and I feel like I've shopped for fabric a lot in the last few months. But like I said, I haven't really been sewing a ton, or at least how much I usually do. So today we're gonna bust through a bunch of my stash and I'm so excited. All right, the first one I'm going to do is a fall skirt. I did a skirt tutorial here on YouTube in June and I made a few like summery skirts. I think I have 3 skirts and I wear them like very often. I love like a good elastic waistband, comfy cozy skirt. In the summer I wore them all with like t-shirts, tank tops, and I need some good fall skirts to wear with sweaters. Some of them will work fine, right? Winter or summer, but I specifically want a good fall skirt. So I have this fabric that I got forever ago from Fluid Plus Drape, and it's almost like a little flannel-y. I'm sure she doesn't have it anymore, but it's a really nice texture. I'm actually pretty sure it is a flannel, because on one side it feels like a nice, like almost cottony linen-y feel, and then on the other side it's like slightly fuzzy, so there's like a right and wrong side. Anyways, so I'm gonna make a skirt, and that should be very quick, especially since it's already cut out. That'll go fast. So I'm doing that one first to get momentum. And then this one, I literally cut this out last February because I remember I met up with some friends to go to a library where we all like were cutting out projects and stuff at the library. It was really fun. Activity idea if you have friends who like to sew. Anyways, so I cut this out at the library in February and then I just never made it. So this is a pair of lane pants and they're like, it's like a brown twill. I'm almost positive I got this at Blackbird. I'll look in my like email history if I can find exactly what it is, but it's probably like a mid-weight twill. It's not super flowy, which is exactly what I want. I want like a nice structured pair of pants, and with this one in particular I'm going to be making more of a straight leg instead of like a super wide leg because the lane pants are very wide leg, which I love, but I have so many pairs of very wide leg pants that I want to try a more straight leg option. So that's next. I'll also show you guys how I kind of tapered the legs because I get that question a lot, but it literally is like if you want the legs more narrow, just draw the lines more narrow, but I'll show you how I did it when we get to that. Okay, I'm gonna start going faster. So this is going to be a ruby vest. It's not that much fabric, is it? Ruby vests actually do not take a ton of fabric. So on one side, I have this like blue pinstripey fabric, and I got this one from Joann fairly recently. So it's like a linen cotton blend, or maybe it's just cotton. I'll look it up when we get to this project. But one side is going to be that fabric. I have an inspo pic for that vest that I have had pinned for, again, I think like a year. When I started dreaming up what the ruby was going to be, this is one of the inspo pics I had that I really wanted to make. So finally doing it. That's one side. And then the other side, I tormented over this forever and decided I just need to like pick something and go with it. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna feel about it, but this is like a yellowy gauze. Also, look me in the eyes. Do not try gauze on your ruby unless you feel very confident. I'm actually not totally sure how quilting on this gauze is gonna go. We're just gonna see. If it doesn't work out, that's fine, because at least I know the blue side will. The ruby vest is reversible. I wanted like a color because I do a lot of neutrals. So we're gonna try this. Also, I forgot to mention, I'm trying pockets on this ruby as well. So I've cut some pockets and I'm just gonna like improvise. I don't exactly know how it's gonna work out. So that's my ruby. All right, this one is a fabric I got from Blackbird, also not super long ago. So I'll link it because I'm sure they still have it potentially. It's linen. I'm not sure if it's 100% linen. Again, I'll look it up when I get to it. But this one is going to be a Ganni top hack that I do with my Sid tie pattern. I'm just realizing all of these are my patterns so far, and that's not like by design. I just make patterns for things that I want to wear, right? And a lot of times with my patterns, I get burnt out on them like right when I make them, because I have to make so many versions in the pattern making process that once it's released, I like need a cleanse. So I have not made any Sid tie dresses or tops since it launched, but I've been wanting like a chambray stripe one since its inception. So I finally have fabric for it. I've cut it. I have time to do it. So we are going to make that one. All right, now we're getting into territory where I don't know if I'll have time to finish these things today. But again, maybe I will just sew for 24 hours straight and I will get through everything. So this one is a medium wash denim. And you guys, I don't remember where I got this because it's been in my stash. I don't even remember when I got it. I remember I got a ton of it because I've had it for a long time and I've used various things for different reasons. Honestly, it might have been in my stash for like 2 or 3 years. So it's a medium wash denim. I'm guessing it's probably like 12 ounce denim. It's like pretty sturdy. But this one's going to be a Jill skirt, which is not my pattern, the only one that's not my pattern. This is from Jessie Lou's Closet, and I made one Jill skirt over in the summer that was definitely more like a springy, summery skirt. And it's really cute, a very quick pattern. It comes together very quickly, very easy. But I wanted one that's like a fall-ish skirt. So I'm gonna make a denim one, and I'm gonna attempt some like top stitching as well. There's a mini and a maxi version. I really debated on whether I was gonna do mini or maxi. I was texting my sister last night, like, what should I do? I decided to go with the mini because I'm worried that a maxi denim skirt on me in particular will make my legs look like super short. I don't know. I don't even really care about that much, but I felt like a maxi skirt would have been like high risk and maybe high reward, but I got scared. So mini, I feel very safe with. I did lengthen it a bit. I'll talk about all the mods when I get to this project, but anyway, that one should be quick and easy, and I'll be able to wear it with like sweaters and boots and fall things. Last one is another Ganni top, Sid tie top hack of my pattern. It's just like a white cotton shirting, and I also don't remember where I got this fabric. It's a pretty basic like shirting fabric. It's definitely got something to it. Like, it's not a quilting cotton, but it's like extremely basic, which is what I wanted. I didn't want anything that was like super drapey or whatever. But anyway, I know I'm probably like 18 months late on a basic white Ganni top. Everyone has been wearing them for a long time, and maybe pretty soon they'll be like weird to wear. I don't really care. I've wanted one forever. This is another one that when I made my pattern, I was hoping to make this one like ASAP, and then I got burnt out on the pattern, needed a break. We're finally coming back around. I've also felt this fall, in like the 3 days it's actually been fall, I've felt a lot of days where I wanted like a basic white blouse, not like a t-shirt, right? And I don't really have one. I do have one Sid tie top that is a white linen, but it was like one of the first versions that I drafted. And so it's not quite the same as the pattern. There's like some things I wish I would change about it. And I find I just don't reach for it like a ton ton. I do wear it sometimes. But I think that this like gammy version of it, and with the pattern being like official and done and perfected, will be so much better. I know that I'll wear it a lot more. I'm excited about that one. Again, this is the last one on the docket, so I don't know if I'll get to it today. Okay, those are the projects. We're gonna jump into the fall skirt, and I'm gonna kind of take you guys with me to make all the things. And I also want to put the caveat out there that sewing is so unpredictable. And there are times where you think you're gonna get a ton done and you don't. And there are some times where you're like cruising and surprised at how much you're accomplishing. So if I finish all 6 things today, amazing. If I finish like 2 things, that's okay. I'm telling that to myself. It's okay if I only finish a couple things. I'm just excited to have a little day of self-care where I can shut off all the rest of the world and sew some things. So let's do it. I'm going to be gathering the skirt now, which I was just thinking I've gathered, I don't even know, thousands of skirts in my life because, and I feel like I've talked about this a lot, so you probably already know, but I, for many years, had a like handmade children's clothing business. So I did a lot of like dresses and bows and bloomers and headbands and whatever. And so I've made truly thousands of little girl dresses. And so I've gathered so many freaking skirts. And I actually really like gathering skirts. And maybe that's why, like, therapy through my like past traumas, it was great. I liked my business that I had, but it was a lot. Like, I was a one-person show. And so I did it all and I made everything myself and, you know, did all the website stuff and the photography and the social media, and I fulfilled all the packages, and it was a lot. So I did it for 5 years, and it was like my entire sewing existence as well. I never had sewn for myself until after I closed my shop because I never had time to sew for me. I never had time for anything. Like, I was so busy. I had so many orders all the time, which was great. And like, I mean, first world problems, right? That you're so lucky that people are buying your cute dresses that you make. Like, that's not a big problem. But it was just time consuming, you know, like I felt sort of like a little sweatshop sometimes. Like if I'd have like a launch or something that did really well, I'd be really excited. And then I would spend the next like week plus just sewing. Like literally I would be sewing 18-hour days with like no break, stress, trying to get things out the door. Anyways, so sewing all day is not a new thing for me. Staying up late, if I decide to do that, is not a new thing for me. But sewing my own clothes for me, where I'm the only one who has to care about them, I can make them however I want to, that's kind of like a new fun thing for me. New-ish. I closed my shop like 4 years ago. Anyway, there's a little bit of lore for you. And there's a gathered skirt. It's just a bit past 9:30 and I finished the skirt. Obviously, I think I would style it maybe a little bit differently. If I wore it with this sweater, I might wear like a white shirt underneath it to like break it up a bit. But I'm not gonna change just to show you the skirt. But it's cute, I like it. It has pockets, it's very fall vibes, which is exactly what I was going for. I do wish, like ideally, I was gonna have the proportions be like this top tier, fairly short, and have it be more like drop waist and then have the bottom tier be longer. But I literally used every scrap of fabric I had for this. I didn't have any extra where I could have made this longer tier longer. Like I didn't have enough fabric. So I just made it work. But yeah, I feel like it's good enough. I probably won't even think about that ever again. So I like it. I also realized just a minute ago that I did not think about eating breakfast. So I'm really quick gonna go grab a drink and a snack. Otherwise, I'm gonna start getting really crabby. So I'm gonna go do that and then we'll start on my brown lane pants. We're just stopping at Starbucks because it's very close and convenient and I wanna get back to it. But I always get the same thing. I get a strawberry refresher. I've actually never had a sip of coffee in my life, if you could believe that. So we're just sticking with what I know. And then I get a chocolate croissant with it, which can be hit or miss. I've had some bad ones, but when they're good, they're so good. Thank you.
Yeah, have a good one.
You too. I'm jumping into my brown lane pants now, but really quick, I wanted to show you the alterations I did to them because I'm changing up the leg shape quite a bit and I wanted to like walk through what I did and why. So normally the lane pants are quite wide leg, oversized. So I have here the paper pattern in a size 10. That's the size I usually make. And this is the front pant leg. And basically what I did is I cut the top area of it normally, but then when I got down to the leg, I wanted it to be more straight leg. So how I figured out how to do that, you can see I kind of just cut the leg shapes more narrow, right? And it really is as simple as that, is just redrawing the lines. But the way that I decided to draw my lines is I took a pair of overall pants that I had that I really like the width of the legs. They're very straight leg, but they're still like roomy, right? They're not like skinny jeans because I do not want that. And I was nervous about making them too narrow or maybe not narrow enough. And I measured the width at the hem and then the width at like the knee-ish, just to get an idea and like a frame of reference of what I might want my pant width to be. So that's kind of what I based it on. And then from there, I just cut in both sides a little bit and brought them in closer. Right at the hem, I kept this straight for a few inches so that when I roll the hem, that doesn't cause problems. But then the rest of it, I really just like freehand drew a line in more narrowly. I also didn't bring it in more narrow past where like the pocket bag will be so that I don't have to make any alterations of the pocket bag or the waistband or anything like that. So the upper portion of it is still going to be the same, but then the leg is just hopefully going to be more straight. One last thought, you can see that I cropped it here. It's it is 3 inches shorter than the regular length. And that is because normally the lane pants have quite a deep hem on the bottom, which I love a deep hem. But for these pants in particular, I want to be able to roll the bottom up. Like I have this specific pair of brown pants I saw like a long time ago that I had saved on Instagram that I really liked because they were like a really nice basic and I felt like they'd go with a lot of my wardrobe. And the hem is kind of like cuffed and I thought that was really cute. So I want to do a normal hem on these pants, kind of like what you'd see just on like jeans. So I may even need to cut it shorter than this, but I didn't want to overshoot. So I cut 3 inches off the bottom. That'll be a good starting place. Once I get to the point of hemming the pants, I'll try them on. And if I need to cut off more, I can. But anyways, I've cropped it a bit and I narrowed the pant legs. I also want to say, this is all kind of guessing. Like, I think this will work out. There may be some discrepancies of like changing the curve here may make one pant leg not match up perfectly in that it might be like a 1/4 inch longer here or there or whatever, and I'm just gonna kind of roll with it and see what happens. And honestly, maybe I won't like them. This is the first time I'm making them. But if you want to make your lane pants slimmer, you can just redraw the lines. Also, I have narrowed the legs before, like very slightly, like taken them in like 1/2 inch or something on the sides. This time I'm taking them in like quite a bit more. This is much more of an adventurous narrowing. So we'll see how it goes. I just finished the cargo pockets on the lane pants, and I forgot how much fun they are to do, like the top stitching and like all the little details. Anyway, it makes me want to make a pattern that has like a million fun details. I changed out of my sweater because it was getting a little bit warm in here, which I get the question all the time if my studio is like temperature controlled. It's not. I live in a very temperate climate. I have a space heater that you can probably see on the floor over there for when it's like colder in the mornings. It hasn't been bad at all. I'll probably use it a lot in like the winter. So that's been fine. And then in the summer, it really isn't bad in here unless it's like 90 degrees and above, which where I live, it is very rarely that hot. And even when it is like a 90-degree day, I can be in here until like 3 o'clock. It's really from like 3 to 6 that it's like, okay, it's pretty hot in here. So anyways, I usually wear like sweaters or sweatshirts until like noon or 1 when the sun comes out, and then it's like great in here. It feels really good, but I just can't have like hot sweaters. Anyway, that's a tangent. I wanted to show you the pants because we're coming along here. The inseam is not sewn up yet, but I feel like they're coming together and they're looking really good. And I'm also really happy because as I've been sewing them, I worried that maybe like, did I take them in too far? Like second guessing because they, you know, are so much narrower than the original. But I feel like looking at them, obviously I still need to sew up the inseam, so we'll see. But I feel like they're looking really good. I am happy with my choice. So let's do the inseam, hem them, add the waistband. We'll be done before we know it. I'm making the drawstring of the pants and I wanted to show you how I do it. So I'm folding mine like bias tape. You can either do yours like bias tape, you can turn it inside out, you can use like cord or I don't know, however you want to do it. I find bias tape very easy, so I'm doing it that way. But I wanted to show you the little bias tape makers that I'm using. It's like this little contraption thingy that you feed the strip of fabric into this end of it and then it spits it out folded like the bias tape, and then you can like iron it from there. And they're super duper handy. I had seen them for years and just was like, oh, that's cool. But I finally decided to actually get them and try them out. And I'm completely obsessed with them. They're not even that expensive either. I'll link the ones that I have. They came in a pack of like a bunch of different sizes. But yeah, they've been a lifesaver. Okay, I'm done with the pants and I'm obsessed with them, and I'm mad at myself that these have been sitting in my closet, cut but not made, since February. I really like how the legs turned out because yeah, like I didn't want like skinny jeans, right? And they're not like super narrow. They're just like the right amount of comfortable wide-ish straight leg. I could have even gone more narrow, but I like how they are. And I ended up not cutting any extra off the hem. Like I said, I thought I might have to cut more off. Here, I'll unfold them. So unfolded, they're like full length, and then folded, they're like slightly cropped, so I can kind of wear them either way. There's a chance I might cut them up later and take off a little bit off the bottom, but I thought let me live in them a minute and then I'll decide. I also think once I wash them, because I always feel this way with things that I just barely made, because they've been ironed a billion times, like every square inch of these pants have been ironed so much they're like very pressed, and I think they don't look quite lived in yet because they haven't been washed or lived in. So once they're washed, I will get a better vibe of if I need to hem them anymore, but I don't think I will. I like how they are right now. I am so happy with how these ones turned out. I feel like they're probably gonna end up being my favorite make of the day. It's currently 241, just barely turned 241. So I think we're in good shape. I think these pants, especially because I did like the cargo pockets and all of the top stitching and like all of the extra things that are optional that you don't have to do, these probably were my longest project of the day. So I'm done with the pants. I'm gonna have a quick snack. My son loves Uncrustables. You know, like these sandwiches that are in the freezer. And I was starving and I went to see what we had, and we have like a whole box of those. So it's been sitting in the sun. That's why I got it on my porch. It was sitting in the sun to like defrost. So I'm gonna eat that really quick. And then I think next I'm going to make the striped blue Sid tie Ganni top because I'm really excited about that one. I know I was gonna do the ruby vest next, but I keep thinking about that one and I'm really excited about it and I'm like feeling good. And that one's probably gonna take slightly longer than the ruby vest. I don't know, we'll see. Like I said, I think the lanes, these ones were my longest project today. Let's do that top. I imagine I'll be able to get in the Jill skirt after that. So what would that be? That would be 1, 2, 3, that's 4 things. I'm pretty confident I can get through that stuff and then maybe ruby vest after that. But I think this is going well. How many hours are we in? 8 to 9, 10, 11, 12. We're like almost 7 hours in and it's felt like 7 minutes, which is pretty typical for my sewing stamina. All right, on to the next. Some more gathering like the peplum part onto the top. But I've been listening to books this whole time to keep me company. I listen to a lot of audiobooks while I sew. So the one I'm listening to now is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. It's this one. I'm like, what, 14 hours in? There's almost 8 hours left. So what percent is that? I don't know, like 60-ish, like 70-ish%. It's been on my list forever. I feel like I see it recommended a lot. And it's tough because it's been on my list forever because people who I trust their opinions of love it. And then other people who I trust their opinions like say it's overrated and it's not that good. So anyways, it is pretty popular though. So I feel like it was about time I read it. So it's been good. Like I said, it's really long, but it is, which I like. I like long books. The one I listened to right before this was Piranesi, if that's how you say it. And that one was good, but it was like it wasn't even 7 hours long. It was like almost 7. Anyways, I like that one. I can maybe circle back to that. But this one is very long, which I like. And it's very like chill vibes so far. I don't know. I mean, if you've read it, like there's stuff happening, things are happening. But I guess I just thought, like my impression of it was that it was gonna be like mysterious and twisty and turny, and I feel like it hasn't really been. It's been pretty straightforward. It's just like, yep, this is what's happening. So I don't know if like it has twists and turns later. If you've read this and there's like crazy twists, you're probably laughing at me right now. But yeah, though it's good vibes. I feel like if I wasn't listening to it, if I was like had a physical book, it would maybe not totally be keeping my attention. But yeah, it's good so far. I also have a Kindle book always going on at the same time. I always listen to like, I have one audiobook going on that I listen to while I sew and while I hike, and then I have one Kindle book that I read like at night when I have time. So I just started a new Kindle book a couple days ago. I actually haven't really gotten into it. I read like, I don't even think I finished the first chapter, and then I haven't had a chance to read it again. But it's called Anathema, if that's what it is, by Carrie Lake. That one's more like fantasy-ish, I think, and like dark, which is exciting. I like some dark fantasy stuff, so we'll see. But I was so excited because I was watching my favorite book girlie, Heather McLary. I'll tag her, but she's great. I love watching all her stuff. And I kind of picked up Anathema on like a whim. I saw like one person talk about it and I was like, all right, I'll read it. And then in Heather's last YouTube video, she read it and loved it. So I was like, oh, great. Then I will like it too. Anyways, so hopefully tonight, if I decide not to pull an all-nighter, I will read some of that. Anyways, drop your favorite books, because I'm always looking for more, although my list is so freaking long of the ones I need to read. We've officially lost our light, which I'm so sad about, but I finished the top and it's so cute. It's exactly what I wanted. I may end up hemming it just a bit. I always get so scared with stuff like this that it's going to be too short, so I cut like extra and then I don't know. So I'm going to wash it. I'm going to try it on with like other bottoms. I don't know if I would exactly pair it with this skirt. I don't know, maybe. But yeah, I'm going to try it on with some other stuff, wash it, let it live and breathe a little bit, and then I may end up taking the hem up, I don't know, like an inch or two. Truly is exactly what I wanted, and I feel like I'm gonna wear it all the time. It even looks like denim, which is what I would have preferred, like a striped denim shirt, but it's like this nice linen. Yeah, it's a good one. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do, it's currently 7:23. We started at 8. I wanted to be done by 8-ish. I'm not feeling sick of this yet, which is maybe signs of like mental collapse. But I probably should eat. I haven't had like a vegetable or really any protein today. I feel fine, but I haven't even been drinking enough water. I've just been like cave troll sewing. Okay, what I'm gonna do, I think I'm going to make the Jill skirt because it's super fast, especially since it's already cut and everything. It comes together really quickly. I almost feel like I could get it done in an hour. So let's make that really fast, and then I'll take a break and eat dinner and see how I feel. And I might, once I sit down and eat a proper meal, lose all my momentum, or I might like want to read or something instead. So not 100% sure if I will sew after that, but I feel like we can get that one done at least. And then that will be 4 things, which I guessed I could finish 3 to 4 things, and I just finished my 3rd. I have half an hour left technically, so what, 3.5 things? I was right on. Okay, let's sew a skirt. I decided to use some like top stitching thread on the skirt. You see it's like jean stitching, right? Because I feel like a lot of times when I make denim things, they look, I don't know, they have like an extra homemade look about them, which isn't always necessarily bad, but I wanted this skirt to look like official, like a real jean skirt, you know? And I originally was gonna do a lighter wash, but my light wash denim is really lightweight, the one that I had in my stash. And again, I didn't want to have to buy new fabric because I have plenty. I don't need to buy any. Anyway, so I'm using the darker wash that I have because it's thicker, which is what I wanted. And now I'm not sure how I feel about this top stitching. It's too late. I'm not gonna unpick it because I just want to be done. I mean, it looks nice. I just don't know if it's the vibe I'm going for. I'm trying to picture like what I'm gonna wear it with. Maybe I've just been sewing for too many hours at a time to be thinking clearly. So that's the side seam, and then that stitching will be around the hem and the front seam, whatever the front thing is going to be, and then like the wrap tie thing also will have that top stitching thread, which I had to make the tie out of this like really thick fabric, right? I debated using a lighter weight fabric to make the ties of the skirt with, but I wanted it to look all the same. So I don't know, maybe I'll regret that. But folding all of this into bias tape did take a really long time, and it didn't fit, like it's too thick to go through the bias tape maker that I showed you. So I had to do it all the normal way. And then I am securing it down with the clips for now, or else it'll just all come unraveled or unfolded. Anyways, okay, I'm gonna finish up skirt. It won't be long now. It really is close. All right, it's nearly 10. Skirt took me a lot longer than I thought it would, mainly because of the fabric I chose. So also the sweater's back because it's cold again. But here is our Jill skirt. Hopefully you can kind of get a good look at it. I really like it. So a couple things that I did to modify it going in. I lengthened it by 1 inch, and then I added about like 1/2 inch to the rise, because the one I made before that was just like as is, I felt like was a tad shorter than I wanted it to be. And since I wanted to wear this one in the fall with like sweaters and whatnot, I was worried about it being too short. So it is longer, and I almost feel like I'm gonna take it up a little bit. Again, this is another one that I'm gonna wash, and I'm gonna let it have a couple wears, especially since I am not like, this is not styled. I'm just wearing what's comfortable to sew in right now. So maybe once I actually try to style it and whatever, I'll change my mind. But yeah. Oh, and I also, the back darts, I widened them about 1/2 inch each, because my like hip to waist ratio in the back specifically was a little bit greater than the pattern allowed. So I left the front darts as they were. I feel like those ones are fine. But the back darts, I shrinked, and I feel like that actually did help a lot. I'll also probably cut these ties a little bit shorter. That's another thing. I just need to wear the skirt a little bit more, and then I'll be able to decide. So we have the ruby vest and the other sid tie top left that is cut and ready to go. I'm not sure if I'm gonna make them tonight. I just had a salad delivered, and I'm gonna go eat that and watch some college football. And then from there, I may come back and sew. I may just call it. Right now I'm feeling fine. Like I might make more stuff, but I also could definitely foresee me crashing the second I sit down. I do think making 4 things in a, what is this, 14-hour period is pretty good. I'm happy with that, especially since they're like full-on projects. It's not like I was making like pot holders, right? They're like 4 clothing items. So I'm gonna eat my dinner and we'll see how I feel.